what it's all about. I got soul, and I'm super bad. That tells me what to do. Sometimes I feel so nice. I said I want to try myself a few.
All right. Hey, y'all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Nana Khanna, she or they pronouns, co-executive director of Positive Women's Network USA. And we are so excited to welcome you to our pep rally, the Friday before Get Out the Vote weekend. Today is Friday, November 4th. We know polls are closing in just a few hours in multiple states across the country. And we're here today to tell you a little bit about the work that our amazing community has been doing to throw down for this election cycle and how you get involved. And more than anything, we want to thank you all for especially our amazing campaign folks, our volunteers, our staff team, everybody who's been throwing down so hard to make sure that we achieve justice and liberation for our communities in this election cycle. We can go to the next slide, please. So for folks who don't know, Positive Women's Network USA is a national membership organization led by and for women and trans folks living with HIV. And what we do is we build power for communities most impacted by the HIV epidemic in the United States. We build power for our communities because we know that when communities most impacted by HIV win, everybody wins. So what are we fighting for? We're fighting for Black liberation. We're fighting for queer and trans liberation. We're fighting for justice for migrants, for housing, for healthcare, for safety, for freedom from surveillance, policing, and criminalization. We're fighting for reproductive justice, including abortion access. And we're fighting for racial, gender, and economic justice across the board. How does that sound, y'all? I hope you're with us in throwing down for this vision for our communities. Next slide, please. So we want to tell you a little bit about what is at stake. We know that elections really matter. And right now, we're just days away from a very consequential election that's going to impact all of those things I just talked about. We're in the middle of a midterm election cycle. Midterms means the elections that happen on the even years in between presidential years. Often a lot of folks in our communities and a lot of folks in general don't necessarily pay attention to what's happening in non-presidential years in terms of elections, but they really do matter. And we know that, as the HIV community has always said, silence equals death. And the HIV vote, the vote of the HIV community and all the folks who are connected to the HIV community, all the people we love, all the people we care about that we're in community with, it really matters and it really counts. There are an estimated 1.2 million people living with HIV in this country. And people living with HIV deserve the right to housing, to safety, to healthcare, to full reproductive justice, to having our human rights respected, and to racial justice, to liberation. And that is a lot of people. That is potentially a very powerful voting bloc. We know that elections can swing by just a few hundred votes sometimes at the local level, even at the national level. Ballot propositions can win by just a few hundred or thousand votes. So every single vote that we get really does make a difference in terms of making sure that our community's priorities are reflected on issues. Next slide, please. So anybody know what this is? We are just about at 100 hours till polls start closing on the East Coast. So we're at the 100-hour countdown. In 100 hours, polls will already be starting to close. We know that you all have been working for, folks have been working for days, for weeks, for months, and really for years to get to this moment and to fight for what we know is right and to fight to manifest that at the ballot boxes. And so every single hour between now and the times polls start closing in 100 hours really does make a difference. And we're going to tell you a little bit today about what you can do to be part of that solution. Next slide, please. So what's at stake? Again, we've talked, kind of abstractly about what's at stake. And I know everybody here really understands what is at stake, but there are some really concrete things that are on the ballot for our communities. And as a nonprofit organization, we cannot take any positions on candidates, on political parties, or things like that. But we do throw down on issues that impact our communities and make sure that voters understand the issues that impact our communities and how they might be showing up on the ballot. And so, for example, abortion rights are directly on the ballot. In some states, there are initiatives, ballot measures that will expand or restrict abortion access. So here in California, for example, we have a ballot measure that will put abortion rights into our Constitution. In states like Colorado, we have Prop 123, which will expand affordable housing. We've fought in the past to expand affordable housing at the ballot in Philly and other places. We have a healthy school meals program on the ballot also in Colorado that will be funded by the states. And then just in the last couple of hours, we saw this announcement that, Florida has restricted doctors from providing gender affirming care to kids. So we know that trans rights, trans liberation are also on the ballot in so many ways. And so many of the rights for our communities are really at risk. And yeah, thank you, Susan. Exactly. There are bad bills that we have to fight back on, bad propositions as well as good ones in many states around the country. Next slide, please. So what are we doing about all this? One of the things we have to do is a lot of times people don't participate in voting for a range of reasons. And one of those reasons is that these systems were never set up for our communities. They were never designed for our communities. They were designed as white supremacist systems, including the electoral system was set up as a white supremacist system to actually disenfranchise and disempower our communities. But we're fighting back because we know we need to be part of the solution. And in addition to people, who may believe that the system was never set up for them, that electoral politics don't really work to win, they're not wrong. Voting is just one tool in the toolbox. And there are other ways that folks are trying to suppress the vote. And believe me, they would not be trying so hard to make it hard for us to vote, for our communities to vote, if the vote didn't really matter. So we have things from armed vigilantes, showing up at polling stations and ballot boxes. We have ID requirements. We have polling places changing or closing without adequate notice to the voters. Part of the work that we're doing is combating all of that. We're making sure that voters know their rights, that they know what IDs they need to take with them, that they know when election day is, that they know when they can go early vote, they know how to mail in vote if they can do that, and that their rights to vote are respected and protected. Next slide, please. And so we're working really hands-on in a number of states, in Pennsylvania, in Texas, in Colorado. We are throwing down, our chapters have been leading some incredible work on the ground. Our members have been leading some incredible work on the ground in these states, linking the long-term organizing they do every day to expand healthcare, to protect housing rights, to advance racial justice, Black liberation, queer and trans liberation, linking all of that work into voter engagement and voter education programs. And so we're going to hear from them about some of the work they're doing right now. And I'm going to go ahead and pass to Crystal, who's going to tell us a little bit about what our folks are doing in Texas.
Thank you, Nana. And thank you for grounding us in that reality of where we are today. So I am Crystal Townsend. I'm the organizing manager with PWN. I'm also born and raised in Texas. I live in Houston, and so this election is very real for us. And I'm gonna just stop sharing screen because I have other folks who live in Texas who are with us today, and the work that we're doing is very real. And we have a lot at stake. So from everything to like fighting to protect people's right to choose when and how and with whom they want to create families with, that's very real. Even if we have families, we want to make sure our families are safe and protected, and we have the financial ability to take care of our families. That's very real for us. a lot of us were in the pandemic while also being in a winter storm where people lost their lives. That's very real for us. We have the worst healthcare system in the country. That's very real for us. So when we have been talking to voters in Texas, we have been phone banking, we've been out in the community talking to people, and really, sometimes we get a sense that they want a better Texas, but they also don't know how this is possible. We have so much up against us, and so they really don't see the possibilities. So I'm grateful for our comrades in Pennsylvania and Colorado and all over the state who show us possibilities. I want to bring on Roxy. Roxy, you have been working with us and you have been talking with voters. And so I just want to hear from you, hear your experience.
Hello, everybody. This is Roxy, she, her, hers. This is my second year working with Houston in Action as far as doing voter engagement and voter mobilization. This year was particularly interesting due to the fact that we were asking people about how did they feel about abortion rights? Did they support it? Were they unsure against it? And one thing that I've found out from phone banking is a lot of men, specifically Black males, had a lot to say about the abortion access. They were fully on board. They were fully supportive. They had so much information and received from me. They really, really had a lot to say on the issue, and it was all very positive. Other than that, this was a wonderful experience, and I would do it 1,000 times over if I had to.
Thank you so much, Roxy. You've been like a rock star phone banking, and we are working with a greater collective in Houston. Roxy mentioned them, so shout out to Houston in Action. We are trying to build collective power with organizations and people really trying to organize a better Texas. So we will continue to have powerful conversations over the next few days leading up to the election. We want to just remind folks that election polls are open today until 7 p.m. And then the next time they will be open is on Tuesday, November 8th from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. In Harris County, you can vote anywhere if you live in Harris County. So just want to make sure that y'all know how important this election is and invite y'all to really take action. Right now, I want to pass it over to our comrades from PA. And so let us know how it's going in Pennsylvania, Sam.
Thanks so much, Crystal. It's always such an honor to be in community with all of you wonderful, powerful organizers. And here in Pennsylvania, we have a serious fight on our hands. And we have been lucky enough to have incredible support from organizers and members like my comrade Cookie, like Kenya on this call, like Grace on this call, and other wonderful Pennsylvanians who won't give up this election without a fight. We'll knock on every door. We'll have a bunch of meaningful grounding conversations. My slide is actually the next one, and then this one is Grace's. So if you want to go to the next one real quick, and I could share some really wonderful highlights with y'all. Pennsylvania has reached almost 500,000 voters. We've had conversations with 14,610 Pennsylvanians. We ran phone banks on voter education, abortion access, constitutional amendments, and House Bill 103, which criminalizes our communities. So as you can see throughout this election cycle, we have had direct attacks on our livelihood, on our autonomy, on our legal access. And we didn't take that laying down, right? We stood up and fought back against these bills and had many conversations with folks. And we also knocked on 7,847 doors and plan on doing the same thing this weekend and talking to everybody in our community to make sure we get out the vote and lift their voices so we can collectively take back the power that the state is always trying to grab from us. What's next? So we're canvassing the entire 11th ward this weekend. We're calling and texting Pennsylvania voters now and throughout the election day. But what we can't do is do it alone. We are stronger together. And that's why we organize together. That's why we stay in community. And I'm so grateful to be able to pass the mic to a wonderful organizer and member of Positive Women's Network, Ms. Grace, who's going to tell you some stories from the doors and phone banking. Grace, take it away.
Yeah, good evening, everybody, and thanks for this opportunity to talk to you. We have knocked doors in Pennsylvania, and we have been phone banking, and we are a great community. We are a great team, and people love us. When we initially started knocking doors, especially in North Philly, people were a bit suspicious of us, and they were like, who are you? We don't even know who our legislators are. Can you tell us their names? We've never seen them. But as time went on, as we began knocking, we have built trust with the community. And sometimes when we knock on the doors, we just have them shedding tears and saying, you remembered us, the legislators are gonna make a difference. So people are really relying on you legislators and our governors and everybody else who's gonna be in office to make a difference. One of the interesting things was an elderly woman who was 87 years old. She had filled in her mail-in ballot. And as you know, mail-in ballot is our strength, our greatest strength in Pennsylvania. But the daughter was so busy working, doing 3 jobs, that she was not able to help her mother mail in her ballot box. So when she saw us, she just clung to us and made us walk her to the nearest polling station. The other interesting story was 25 men living in a trans housing, and they did not know that they could vote because they had felony. So we were able to educate them that you can still vote even with felony. Imagine losing 25 people when you know that every single vote counts. So the young men were able to, we help them. One of the things we do, we walk around with our phones and we have all the information. We can tell you where your polling station is. A lot of people do not know where the polling stations are. And we are able to help you fill in your ballot box and do, you can ask and give you all the information you need to ask various questions. The abortion access issue has been very interesting, very much on fire in Pennsylvania. We've had a lot of mothers who really care for their children. We've had mothers who are really concerned that the bill may pass, which gives the child priority over the mother. But what is important is that these conversations are going on. And what is important is that voters making informed choices. They're just not going to the ballot, but we are really making education a great part of our canvassing and phone banking. Finally, one of the main issues was a mother who shared her life. She regretted not allowing her child to have an abortion at the age of 12 because of her religious beliefs. And she really appreciated that we are able to open this conversation within the religious community because she lost her child. Because her child was afraid to tell her that she was expecting a baby and she had been raped at only 12 years old, the child went and did unsafe abortion with the help of her friends. Imagine a 12-year-old. So this conversation that we're having on abortion access has opened doors to the religious communities and other people who do not have a voice and who do not know what to do when it comes to the abortion issue. So we'll be phone banking tomorrow. We'll be knocking on your doors. We are getting a very positive energy and very positive information, feedback from the community. The main issue, the sad issue is the voter suppress going on in Pennsylvania, where last Saturday we found a whole block of voters who will be voting in a funeral home. And they were asking me questions that me and my colleagues could not answer. Are we gonna vote in the undertaker's office? So when you are allocating polling stations, please ensure that you know where your people are voting. Do not take them to a place where there's a morgue and there are dead bodies. They feel it's very disrespectful. But we are excited, and please look out for us tomorrow. We'll be everywhere, helping you to get your vote out. Thank you.
So amazing. Thank you to all of our incredible Pennsylvania and Texas folks. I'm going to talk a little bit about Colorado and then ask Toy to share some of her stories. So absolutely, when we're talking in Colorado, we have been phone banking, we have been canvassing, we have been out in the rain and in the snow. Y'all, we got 6 inches of snow yesterday, and we held down a canvas shift in the midst of it, because we know that keeping Colorado a safe haven for folks to be able to access abortion is a priority, and that on our ballots we have such important ballot measures, including affordable housing, including being able to continue to fund programs that support both our schools, our parks, and our libraries. So we have been out, we have been talking to 253,000 Colorado voters, and we have knocked on over 6,000 doors. It has been an incredible opportunity. We are out canvassing and phone banking on all the rest of the days, and we absolutely would love people to come and join us. I'm going to go ahead and see if Toy can come off of mute. Toy is one of our amazing, incredible double hitters. Toy is both a canvasser and a phone banker. Everything that we do, Toy is there for all of it. And so Toy, do you want to come off of mute and tell us a little bit about what your experience has been like? And looks like Toy might be having a little bit of a challenge with your phone. So while we're waiting for Toy to come off of mute, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share a video that Becky Smith, who is another one of our amazing all-around organizers with canvassing and phone banking, made when we were out on the doors the other day.
Go. Okay. Hi, y'all. This is Becky with PWN Colorado, out here canvassing, talking to folks about the upcoming election and the ballot measures that are up there. I was a little nervous talking to people because we were talking about some heavy hitting issues, but we come across some young voters that are enthusiastic and ready to make a difference, just like me. I think one of the voters that was young and coming up, he was confused about the ballot and he was unsure if his vote would make a difference. And I told him, every little bit counts.
All right, and thank you for making that recording, Becky. Absolutely, it is something that when we're talking, especially in Colorado, to some of the younger voters, they have never voted, and so we have a chance to really talk to them about both how easy it is in Colorado. We are really blessed. We make it pretty darn easy for folks to turn in their ballots, and then we also have had a chance to really talk to them about why what's on the ballot the measures are so important. I just want to check one last time and see if Toy is able to join us. Looks like perhaps not. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to Tati to talk to us about the final days that we have remaining.
Hi, everyone. Tati, she, her pronouns. Thank you so much. Awesome. Well, first I wanted to just start off with saying thank you to everyone on this call or watching who's really what makes this team so great, who's taken the time to hop on the doors, hop on the calls. Some folks phone banking and canvassing and phone banking in multiple different states, learning multiple different issues impacting us, different scripts, navigating difficult conversations about very emotional, personal issues to all of us. So I want to just thank everybody so much for all of the time and heart you've put into this work with us. And we're so grateful and we're just so excited and proud to continue doing this work the next 4 days and long after that as well. But I also want to just, if you haven't already signed up to join us, or if you are having some more time the next 4 days and you want to join us, pick up an extra shift, you're fired up, Now is the time. As Nana said, there's 100 hours left and we need your help. We are reaching out to 80,000 voters in the next 100 hours. And every day we are running phone banks in Pennsylvania, Colorado, and Texas. Most days we're talking to voters on the doors in Pennsylvania and Colorado. And on election day, we're going to be on the ground, on the field, monitoring the polls and social media. And we're also going to be phone banking and canvassing on election day as well. And you can sign up to join us. You can send this link to a friend. We are actually going to be phone banking tomorrow morning. So you could join us as early as tomorrow morning. In Pennsylvania, we've got phone banks from 10 to 2 Eastern time, 9 to 1 Central, 8 to 12 Mountain time. That's for the morning, tomorrow morning. And then in Colorado, we've got 2 to 5 Eastern time, phone banking tomorrow, 1 to 4 Central time, and 12 to 3 Mountain time. So you can get involved and join us now. Or if you have a friend who's been asking you about the election and you want them to join us, send them this Mobilize link, which we are putting in the chat right now, which is how you can sign up for your shifts. And you can sign, that's a general link, which has all of the opportunities from now until election day of phone banking and canvassing shifts to join us out in the field. So we really hope that you join us, or if you're already joining us, we hope that we see you maybe even more than the next couple of days. So thank you everybody so much. And I'm gonna pass it over to Crystal.
Thank you, Tati. And thank you to everybody who really has been a part of this. As we close this out, we want to always lead with gratitude and joy for all of y'all who do this work. A lot of us have experienced a lot of loss, personal loss this year, and are going through so much. As Black and Brown folks, we are expected to hold so many of our communities up, and it is exhausting. So we get it. So anytime you share with us, we are so grateful for you. We just want to remind y'all about how you can get involved. You can share this video with folks. You can phone bank with us. You can come out and canvass with us. You see folks from Texas, this is the Texas crew, out and about in the community. You can poll monitor with PWN. We are doing that in Houston on the north side, in Colorado, and in PA. And when you poll monitor, you're just observing, making sure our communities are safe, and you can also bring joy to the poll. So I want to show y'all a video that is a little bit embarrassing, but it also was hella fun to make. So shout out to Elena for helping me do a little cup it challenge and bring joy to the polls last night. So Barb, can you play that?
We gonna fuck up the night. Black lights, spaceships fly. Unapologetic when we fuck up the night. Fuck up the night. We getting fucked up tonight. We gon' fuck up the night. See fire, until you see stars, until you elevate, until you meet God. I feel like falling in love. I'm in the mood to fuck some.
Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all for entertaining us. Thank y'all for hanging with us. And we will see y'all in the next Zoom room or at the polls.